Hey Reddit, what was your weirdest, scariest holy crap I can't be friends with this person anymore moment? A roommate of mine paid a homeless kid who was starving $10 for his guitar. He said the kid cried and begged him to take something else, so he said he'd give him an extra $5 if he showed him his dong, which he did. He comes home and gives me this cheap but beautifully hand decorated guitar with this story like it's a prize. I started looking for somewhere else to live the next day. Oh god, my soul just fell out. I hadn't seen the friend in about a year. He had moved to take a new job. When he gets back into town I invite him over to have a beer and hang out. When I am not in the room he steals a few checks out of my checkbook and writes down my driver's license number from my wallet. A few weeks later he fully steals my identity, opens up a handful of credit accounts in my name and writes checks all over town. It drains my bank account and causes all kinds of havoc. Luckily, he was caught and I got most of my money back, but it took me about a year and many headaches to get it all fixed up. After his arrest, he contacted me and had the balls to ask if I would drop the charges so he wouldn't have to go to jail. As he put it, friends forgive each other. I laughed at him and told him I forgive him, but he still needs to take responsibility for what he did, which in this case meant going to jail. My best friend. Her boyfriend and her 8-month-old baby were homeless. Me and my then boyfriend, now husband, picked them up and let them stay in our tiny 1-bedroom apartment with our dog. We spent a lot of money buying food, buying gas to take them to different agencies that could help them pick up their belongings from some crappy neighborhood that they were living in. Got her multiple job interviews, bought diapers, and some baby formula for them. One day my friend sat me down and told me that my boyfriend stared at her and it made her uncomfortable. I told her he was probably looking at the baby. I stare at the baby too. Babies are cute. We want one of our own one day. She said he's not allowed to look at my baby. I really don't think he's a very nice guy and I think you deserve someone better. I was floored. At the time I had a crappy job, so it was mostly his money we were spending on them. She told me if I didn't break up with him she would leave. I told her that she needed to leave. Turns out she stole a lot of my clothes and went into our room and stole most of the change we had in a jar. Not cool. I am no longer friends with her and my husband now has trouble trusting my friends when they are over. Fat ugly friend is finally getting cute girlfriends. Much younger, but still in their 20s, then 19, then 18, then younger, then younger. Come to find out, he's been feeding them H. You know, it'd be fricked up with just the H. But what really does it is the fact that once he realized that it was working, and he could get any girl he wants, he drops to children. Comorbidity in action. I'm in recovery for anorexia and weight gain is just part of it. As I went from underweight to a normal weight they started telling me, and other people when they thought I couldn't hear, how fat I was getting and that I was letting myself go. Sorry, I should have said that they were some close friends of mine at the time and that they knew about my anorexia. Good for you for taking the steps to get better. I understand your pain. I had to deal with people commenting on my weight gain and talk about how I was getting chubby. It helped to remind myself how miserable I was when I was starving myself to meet their and my own ridiculous expectations. Healthy is happy. Keep it up. And if you ever want to chat about it, feel free to PM me. I'd have to say when he tried to carnally assault my now ex-girlfriend, that was the end of that right quick. Only regret is that I didn't take some of his teeth first. It's never too late for a sucker punch. He won't expect it now. When I let my best friend live with me for free, she smoked all my cigarettes, ate all my food, found my stash of cash and stole it to buy beer and a cab ride to my boyfriend's, David, house. They fricked when I was at work. When I came home she said she wanted to go back home because she missed her family. I get a call a month later from her saying she's pregnant. I congratulate her, assuming it was her fiance's. Nope, it's David's. I tell her I am disgusted that she could do something so low. The W replied with, why can't you be happy for me instead of being a jealous bee? David equals gone. W equals gone. This is so fricked up I don't know if I even believe it. Friend of mine was insulting his mom right to her face. He was telling me how stupid she is. He was speaking in English. We live in a Spanish speaking country, and his mom doesn't speak English. At one point, When I looked at him like, dude, stop it, he said in Spanish, don't worry, she doesn't understand anything. At that point she noticed that he was talking about her, and I saw a look of pure sadness on her face. I just couldn't be friends with him after that. I'm not saying he should be a mama's boy or anything, but dang it man, respect your mother. That seriously hurt to read. I was staying in a hostel in London on a gap year after I left school, and I had made friends with another guy from Australia who seemed smart, nice and funny, no red flags, and he was good company. After about 10 days or so after I had arrived in London, we were out at another backpacker hostel nearby in the bar there playing pool with some girls. This guy comes up to me and jokingly says that it's going to be hilarious tonight. I asked why, and he said that he had put some drugs, ecstasy I think, in the girls' drinks. He said that it would be funny to see what happened. As I was only a new arrival and quite young, I was completely spun out. He was the only guy I had gotten to know, and he turned out to be a complete dong. After a minute or so of contemplating the options, I decided to take the following steps. 1. Knock the drinks over accidentally. 2. Buy new ones, which had the bonus of making myself look good. 3. Dragging the guy outside and telling him that if I ever saw or heard anything like that again, then I would give him a beating. In retrospect, I probably should have called the cops on him then and there. Not ruining the night was important to me back then. Well done. You are a decent bloke. When he was arrested for watching P, naked, masturbating, through the window of his living room, standing in his front lawn. This got exponentially funnier after the first 3 ellipses. When she excitedly passed on suicide tips like how to tie the knot to my other friend, 15Y, who confided in her that he was considering killing himself. He hanged himself. I only got to know this recently, but it was 7 years ago. How yeah, and like 2 weeks before he killed himself, we were bonding over suicide options. Crazy, right? This is probably one of the most fricked up ones I have read so far. I think she may be like that one guy who got his kicks watching people commit suicide. When I passed out on his bed, I woke up to him naked and trying to tie me to his bedpost. Luckily my best friend walked into the room because he was looking for me. He just had to take one look at me and no, none of it was consensual. He then proceeded to beat Mr. Naked's butt. My friend actively went after my boyfriend of plus 5.5 years. She would wait for me to leave and drive over to his house, all the while telling me how she would never see my boyfriend without me there and how my friendship was the most important thing to her. Also would spend hours eyeing him super steamy stuff when she knew we were together. She sent me a 4-line TXTSPK crappy apology once I ratted them out. Thanks, but no thanks. Yeah, they are both ex-friend and ex-boyfriend. She refused to take medication for schizophrenia, spent hours and hours abusing every aspect of me whenever she got drunk and then claiming it didn't happen was my fault, so I left. We lived together. This was a week ago. It's awful. You did so right to leave. That is fricked up. Do not let her accusations reside in your head. There is no truth in someone like that. When she roofied me to frick, we used to screw casually, and when I found a girl I was serious about, she did this to show you we can still have fun. Okay, to answer some responses. It was about 8 years ago. Her name was Monica and she always had a lot of drugs on hand. I wasn't the responsible and respected member of society I am now, mind you. We were all having drinks at her place with a small group of friends. She brought me my second or third beer and those present said I was acting really strange at this point and they cut me off. Mind you, I drank heavily when I partied, so being smashed before beer 12 was really out of character. Since people knew we had fricked before on a semi-regular basis, they didn't think it was unusual that she took me to her room that night. I only can recall vague moments of the incident, and when I woke up I was so disoriented I didn't even know where I was or the day and time. It took me another 6 hours after waking up to sober up. I felt terrible about what I did and she didn't tell me the truth of it until like 3 months later. I didn't tell the police, but I made sure everyone who knew her knew what she did and that she wasn't allowed near me. I moved in with my best friend of 6 years. We both needed a place to stay, so it made sense. He went on vacation to visit his mom, and I found out he'd been recording my conversations with people and was secretly filming me and my other friends all over the house with secret cameras that I didn't find until one day when he was gone. Even cameras in the bathroom. Cops got involved and it was super fricked up. Turns out he was gay for my friend and was super insecure, I guess. Got the heck out of that place. Turns out he was super insecure, I guess. The word you're looking for is paranoid. Insecure people just doubt themselves or don't like themselves very much. Insecure people don't place hidden cameras and recording devices all over the house. That's the point where it tips over from legitimately insecure into borderline mental illness. A while back my group of friends had a crazy friend. Let's say his name was Jeff. Now Jeff had been friends with some people in my group from high school, so we just always put up with his shenanigans. But one summer he went to Texas on vacation and came back saying he met a girl named Penny, so of course we all wanted to see pictures and see her Facebook and junk. But he had an excuse for everything. Said she didn't believe in social media and that she kept forgetting to send him the pictures. So we poked a little fun at him and said she wasn't real and forgot about it. A few days later, lo and behold, we all get friend requests from Penny. She was a pretty girl and was all over Jeff in posts saying how she loved him and talking about all the fun they had over the summer. But still no pictures. She even starts talking to all his friends trying to get close to him. Some of us believe it and even really start becoming good friends with her. She would even talk to me about boys and ask to see pictures of guys I was dating and give me dating advice. All was good until one of my friends decided to become a detective and Google image search that crap. Penny was really some 16-year-old singer from YouTube. But by the time this happened, Penny had a whole online life and friends and was on Facebook more than Jeff was. He even pretended to call her and pretended to get texts from her. We never confronted him about having a whole separate online life as a scene chick in Texas. Eventually Penny went off to college in Oregon and even studied abroad in Japan. I'm pretty sure Jeff spent more time on her life than his own. We all stopped talking to Jeff when he joined the army and Penny disappeared from our friends lists. Who knows, maybe he still has his secret life. He was Penny for at least a year actively. After all that went down, I never felt comfortable around him. Sorry for the format. I was on my phone. I feel like he joined the army so he'd never have to come clean to any of you. I woke up to one of my really good guy friends dry humping me when I was drunkly passed out on his couch. Yes, I'm a girl. And yes, I was drunk. No, not drunk enough to initiate anything that I don't remember. Just too drunk to drive half an hour home. My buddy was already a little sketchy, doing occasional coke and telling me how he would consider joining a Mexican cartel and thoughtlessly killing people. Then he told me how he stabbed a guy in the leg because the guy looked like he was following a girl home. If I kept hanging out with him, I was bound to get into trouble. Sounds more like a compulsive lie than an actual danger, but probably better safe than sorry. I might be on the other side of this, but I think the situation was totally uncalled for. Told my best friend that I had depression and was really struggling at that moment. I didn't think it was that a big deal, but I guess he did. He stopped wanting to hang out and never returned my calls. We are in our late 20s and have been friends since we were about 10. Haven't seen him for months now. Some people are terrified of anything that might be negative for them. Sorry you had to go through that. Hope you have other friends and family around you, as well as getting the help you need. I had this friend when I was in high school who obviously had quite a crush on me. He told people we were dating, though we weren't, and called me cutie an awful lot. But we discussed it and I'd made it clear that I was not interested. He said he'd get over it and we remained friends. After we graduated I didn't see much of him, but we continued to chat over IM every now and then, and I moved on with my life and found myself a so. One day I collected the mail and found a small box. It had no stamp and obviously hadn't been sent through the postage system, so I was a little concerned. But when rattled it seemed innocuous enough. It turned out to be a silver charm bracelet with a small heart on it. There was no sender listed and no note, which was creepy, but I figured it might have come from a relative or something, as I have a lot of aunts who are known to do such things. A few days later I got an IM from my old friend asking if I'd liked his gift. I was pretty shocked and more than a little disturbed, as I'd never given him my address, and figuring it was best to just be straight with him, I told him that I had a boyfriend and so sending me gifts was not okay. He told me he already knew. He'd seen us. He then sent me pages and pages of what I can only describe as smutty fanfiction describing my boyfriend and I together. How he'd touch me, the sounds I'd make, in dozens and dozens of scenarios. Needless to say, we are no longer friends. Also, for those wondering, I do not still have his erotic friend fiction, as one of you has dubbed it. It was sent electronically and went down with my high school laptop. I sort of wish I did still have it because people ask to see it whenever I tell this story. That's some restraining order worthy crap right there. I learned that my roommate had violated a friend of mine, and that is why she had spent 3 months in an institution the summer before. I still had 8 months on the lease. Let's just say I was not home very much. Lorem ipsum. How pee would you be if I ran over your dog? A few minutes later she started lightly smacking him on the nose to try to get him to bite her. This close to running her over with a car. Broke up with a GF when she kicked my dog. It was coming anyway, but that got me into the mood for the conversation. Friend couldn't have kids for over a decade and asked if I'd give them my eggs. Later I found out this is illegal in the country where we're expatriates, UAE, but was too late. I injected myself with 2 rounds of hormones, then flew to Lebanon, a third world country that is home to Hezbollah, to undergo a surgery in a shady clinic in the back of a mall and suffered terrible side effects, all out of goodness of my heart. The whole time they acted as if they are doing me a huge favor. They wanted me to fly out of a city an hour away because it was cheaper, then insisted we share the same hotel room as I recovered from the surgery, and the unforgettable moment came when the husband yelled at me for eating a Kit Kat bar from the hotel because it might have been overpriced. Mind you, he makes over 150k a year, so money wasn't really an issue. Afterwards, they never even said thank you. Dragged paying my compensation. Never did, in the end, and when I asked them to watch my dogs for a week said that his pregnant wife doesn't want to smell crap. This was the only thing I asked from them in return for giving them the gift of life. I'm now disappointed in all of humanity. I filed for custody. I appreciate the thought, but no thank you. My husband is the most wonderful human being on earth, whereas the other guy, I'm scared to think what's in his defective gene pool. We also decided to not have children. As for the payment, sure, it is unfair that they refused to compensate me, but I didn't do it for the money. Our income is higher than theirs, plus the legal fees and the headache, not to mention the risks of filing a lawsuit in the UAE, as a woman, are not worth it. Impartial bias. I'm sorry it bugged you, so I went ahead and fixed it for you. I think this one wins. Friend of mine married this calculating woman who invited 4 of her girlfriends to a girls' night out, snacks and drinks. At the end of the night, the bill comes out and it's for $100. Without dropping a beat, my friend's wife says, well, looks like it'll be $20 per person, as she pulls out a 20% coupon out of her purse and says, here's my contribution. Hahaha, I will never dine out with this gal, ever. I was friends with my ex before we started dating. We were together for over a year and, having just graduated college, was starting to make more long-term plans. Well, she decided she needed to frick her best friend's boyfriend, which, naturally, made those two break up. Being in love and stupid, I was trying to see if we could work it out. When I told her that she couldn't spend any time with him again, she said, aren't you being unreasonable? You cheat on me and betray your best friend. When I tell you that you can't spend more time with the guy you cheated on me with, I'm being unreasonable. Clearly you have no concept of how awful what you did is and would like for everyone to just forgive you without you having to do anything. You're better off without her, dude. Cheating is one thing, but being unable to see the error of your way is freaking dangerous. Okay, here we go. I had just turned 16 and it was the first week of summer vacation. My friend and I were going to the mall for a little girl time. We were in and out of a few different stores, went to the food court etc. Just a normal day at the mall. So she decides she wants to go into this one store and I follow. I walked around, looked at some things but didn't see anything I wanted to buy. She went to the register to purchase a few small things and we left. Once out in the mall, she began sorting through her bags of recently purchased items. She says to me, can you hold on to these things for me? I don't have enough room in my bag. Trying to be a good friend, I said sure, no problem. Next thing I know, we get approached by security saying that we were shoplifting. I explained that she had purchased some items and neither one of us were stealing. Security made us empty our pockets and wouldn't you know, there I stood with the items she had stolen from the store. Then she turned around and said to me, "Wow, I can't believe you would do something like that." So I was arrested and grounded and no longer her friend. Freaking B. What a C. My best friend, at the time, said he wanted to decapitate me because I was friends with his girlfriend. I had been friends with her before they had even started dating, and I was the one who had given her number to him. Freaking butthole. I've posted this before, and it's a group of friends instead of just one person, but fecal matter. When I was in high school I had a destructive and mischievous group of friends. One night everyone was over at my house and they all ended up crashing there for the night. Fast forward to the morning, I awake to my dad screaming up my stairs about crap on the walls. Apparently that night they thought it would be cool to smear crap all over a Twilight poster in my little sister's room. They gave the portrait of Edward a large crap mustache. But wait, it gets way better. About 2 weeks after that happened I was in my kitchen making a PB&J sandwich. I go into the cabinet and grab the jar of peanut butter. I pop the top and instantly the smell shotgunned into the air and I nearly vomited. Sealed away in my peanut butter jar was the most putrid smelling turd, perched against the side of the jar. I confronted them about both incidents. No one would ever admit to the peanut butter jar. The Twilight poster was disgusting and a little funny, but after word got out about the peanut butter jar I think whoever did it realized they went way over the top. Needless to say we weren't friends for very long. TLDR. Crap on Edward from Twilight, and crap in my peanut butter jar. I took a college math class with a guy who claimed that when he was in high school, he and some friends broke into a house. Whilst doing whatever around this house, he took a jar of mayonnaise out of the fridge, removed half of the mayo, crap in the jar, replaced the mayo, and put it back in the fridge. One of the most horrifying things I've ever heard. I rented out my furnished house to a friend of mine for a year. Since he was a friend, I only charged him $900 a month and I paid for the pool service. Market was about $1,100. 1 year later, he moves out and I go find the following. He wiped boogers on the walls all throughout the house. His kid climbed on the shelves in the pantry and broke a shelf. Busted up furniture, blinds, and fans throughout house. The front doorbell was totally destroyed to the point one had to manually touch 2 metal contacts together to ring the doorbell. Multiple holes in the walls that he patched up with crap that didn't even match. All the hardware in the house is gold. He replaces the front door knob and lock set with a silver one. Water damage in the upstairs bathroom. Did I mention boogers on the walls? He claimed the house wasn't even in that great of a condition when I rented it to him. I couldn't even talk to him about the freaking boogers on the wall that I had to clean up myself. How do you confront a 40-year-old man that wiping boogers on the wall is not what people do? Yet, we're not friends anymore. The sucker had gall to ask me for help with his business. Yeah, whatever dude. I hope your business goes under. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.